Good morning, paranormal community. And thank you for partaking in this amazing episode of the Odyssey Files. I'm your host, Michael Neal. With me, much more awake than I am, Mr. Anthony Hernandez. Good morning, Anthony. How are you?
Good morning. That's yeah, I'm slightly more awake than you, but it's Sunday. It's good. It's a good day so far.
As in the spirit of full disclosure, uh, as Anthony just referenced to, I'm even more tired than usual. I worked all night. I'm on 1 hour of sleep. Uh,
Mhm.
so if I'm like in the middle of like an answer or a thought, and I just suddenly space out, please understand. That's just because my brain shut down. Like I'm probably as close to a stroke with that when that happens, without actually having one. So, Anthony, if you see that happen, by all means, start talking.
Yeah, keep going.
Uh, I'm sure I will become awake at some point in the near future. Um, I'll just hop right back into it. I'm sure. But I have to also admit that uh, that greeting that I just had was like all the energy that I have left.
You just
So
spent everything.
I did. So I spent everything in the first 8 seconds of the show. It's all downhill from here. So, um, so yeah, but that's okay. Because like I said, we got a great show anyway. Uh, so according to Anthony, and I don't know any of these, so he's gonna be talking a lot in the first part of the show. We have a lot of updates. Like there's a lot of uh things happening in the paranormal universe uh, that directly correlate to a lot of the episodes that we've done lately. Uh, Obviously, there's more. Excuse me. There's more talking about disclosure or people associated with it. You mentioned Jason Hawes has a new update on his
Yeah,
case.
there is a pretty significant update for him, or at least I think it's pretty significant for him. So it
Okay,
kind of opens the door for him.
sweet. We'll get to that here in a second. You said apparently there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings coming.
Yes, there has been. I've never heard of Bigfoot flaps, but I guess they're taking the UAP flaps, so a bunch of sightings, and they're transitioning that to there was a bunch of Bigfoot sightings all of a sudden.
What does flaps mean? Am I hearing things now? Like,
No, I think that just means that there's a abundance of sightings, is what that is. So they're calling anything with more than three, I guess, a flap. So if you see three UFOs, that's now a UFO flap. If you see, I don't know, it's the word that they're using for it.
is this like a millennials term and shit where they take a word that's supposed to mean one thing and now it means something completely
It,
different?
it was originally on the news when they had all the whatever they were over the bases for New Jersey and all those, which are still going
Right.
on. But yeah, they called those flaps. So and no, because the word goes back even further because there was the Washington flap, which is what started, I guess, them using that word, and that was in the 50s or something like that. Uh,
I've never
um,
I obviously I've heard flat before, but not in this context.
yeah, 52 is the first time that they, or at least the first time that I know it was used, and that was all the UFOs that were over Washington, which were, everyone took as swamp gas or weather balloons or whatever other. You're too stupid to know what a UFO is.
It's not about being too stupid, it's about being too gullible.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes they go hand in hand, but other times uh it just fits the narrative they want you to believe. It's one of those things where like, yeah,
believe.
it doesn't matter what the truth is. It matters what people believe. That's the
Unfortunately,
yes, yes, indeed. It's why uh, our wonderful leadership here in America is doing now the whole fake it till you make it type thing. So if they want you to believe that the economy is doing well, then that's all they say. No matter how much the evidence is to the contrary, everything is great.
I well, I kind of think all that stuff's been happening for a really long time, and we just accepted what major media and stuff put out until you start realizing that some of those were in the pockets of those very people. So
Well, true, but I mean, people accept way, way too easily what they want to believe.
yes,
It's
I
the people. It's the people like yourself, the people like Dave, the people like me, the people who know for a fact we'll go and do the research. We don't care what media tells us. Like that's people who will only accept the truth are the ones that will go and look for it.
well,
And
yeah,
and
because
the and,
I think for the most part, people have been conditioned to take what the news says as gospel and move on. Don't question it.
well, it's not that you don't question it. It's that you never up until the last decade, you didn't have a reason to doubt. Like the news that was reported, you could then go online or you could go into books or you could go into history. You could double check it and it would be correct. Like
Yes,
that was the journalistic integrity of the news broadcast. That's why they called it news.
yeah. Now it's more
And
like commentary.
well, it's opinion. Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. I mean, it's pretty much why Fox News continues to get sued. you know, it's the reason why they had to pay out almost $1 billion in a defamation suit because they decided that opinion, not fact, was what brought in the most viewers, and they were correct. But then they, they got spanked for it, and but you still turn on their channel, and they're still throwing out garbage. And that's not to say that other networks aren't doing the same thing, except it's just skewed the other direction. Uh,
Well, yeah, and that there is no neutral, or at least I have not found a truly neutral source of information out there that calls itself the news.
so one of the reasons, and I watch I watch MS Now, formerly MSNBC. Uh, Not so much because everything that they say is in line with what I do, but because almost every single one of their shows doesn't really use their own reporting. They use Reuters, they use the Washington Post, they use the New York Times, and then they give their commentary based on their news. And
Okay.
so, but I actually I've seen it a couple times now. Somebody made a list of the spectrum and where certain papers and like programming, whether it's newspaper, whether it's media, where they fall on the spectrum list. Uh, and like the AP, the Associated Press, was like a little bit on the left, but like towards the middle. I think Reuters was like the one that was kind of right down the middle. So if I see a
Yeah,
report being where it's done by Reuters, I I am more willing to accept what they write as opposed to if I were right leaning, OAN would be like more I would go. I mean, no, I'm afraid not. But I digress. That's not what our update is.
no.
See,
Just
the, this is the
just something for
trail
you
of
to check out, though.
yes,
I was going to
yes,
say I
indeed.
generally watch News Nation. That's at least they seem critical of all sides. At least from what I've seen, the little bits.
I think, and this happened the last time something like this happened. I'll watch Jon Stewart. uh, yeah. Uh, he's
Oh,
probably the only.
he's definitely leans to a side, but he definitely presents both sides and will call BS when he sees it. So I can appreciate that.
Oh, he's fully left. But if the left does something stupid,
He
smack
calls
him
it.
down just as much as the right. Yeah. And they'll do it like funny, which is what everybody wants. Like, I think everybody can take bad news and stuff from any side if you make it funny.
Yeah, I
Hence,
can agree there.
hence, hence this show. Not everybody agrees with me, but I try to make it funny so they'll at least listen. So let's get into the updates. So we're getting way off track
Okay.
here. Get into the updates, and
Sure.
then for whatever time we have left, we do have we're trying to bring back the mailbag. Uh, haven't done it for quite a while. I want to see how it goes, and if it looks like we're actually like doing a good job, we'll do it far more often. And again, anybody who wants to send in a question, who wants to send in their story, or wants to seek our advice or our counsel in certain paranormal matters, uh, you can either email us, odysseyfilesradio@gmail.com, or you can just go to odysseyfilesradio.com, our show's website, and submit it right there on the main page. And you could be part of the mailbag. Mailbag. I was gonna say bag and box at the same time, and there you go. 1 hour sleep, baby. So let's start with Jason because I'm interested in hearing.
Well,
Uh,
I wanted to start with the downer, which I don't know if you had heard about it or not. I
a
would assume you had
downer.
to have.
You want
Yeah.
to start on a
You start low
downer?
and then go high. Yes.
Eh. Let's go. We should do roller coaster. That's the fun part.
Okay.
But all right, downer it is.
Well, the acknowledgement that Chuck Norris passed away this week,
Oh
and
yeah. Eh.
Hawaii is now being punished for taking his life.
Hawaii?
Oh yeah, you haven't heard about all the flooding and all the natural disasters and stuff going on there now? Yeah,
No. I,
there's tons of flooding and stuff.
I saw the uh uh I saw the passing of Chuck Norris, yes. But it was very briefly that it showed up on my feed, and sometimes something will show up on my feed about some, quote unquote celebrity dying, and it's not true.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think I panned away from it, or I had to go back to what I was doing, whether it was sleep, whether it was something, and didn't really see like a credible source for it, like People Magazine. People Magazine will send out these death things all the time. But like if it's TMZ, I take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I all I saw was my friends sharing stuff about it, and that was it. And then promptly forgot all about it because it has no impact in my life whatsoever. So Chuck Norris, who has
Yes.
the legacy of having like the most indestructible person known to man, and the list of the Chuck Norris facts, which are beyond hilarious,
Yes.
died due to Hawaii natural disasters.
Well, they said he was training when it happened. I mean, dude is 86, which I'm surprised he was out there training and stuff like that. But apparently something happened when he was doing his training and caused a medical emergency, and then I guess passed away when he got to the hospital because of it. They haven't released 100% the cause of death, but I would assume something heart related, but that's just me
Yeah,
guessing on his age and stuff.
that training, which is very obviously physically demanding in his age, that would, yeah, and he had already died by the time he got to the hospital. Yeah, that's either heart related or it's like an aneurysm.
Yeah.
Some sort
And
of
he was
massive stroke. Yeah.
one thing that or at least I was always impressed by him is that he was one of Bruce Lee's students.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I've always had a big spot for Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee. So
Yeah, I never paid any attention to Bruce Lee. Obviously, I know who he is. Uh,
yeah,
um, I'm a big fan of the Ip Man movies, which his younger
his
self,
trick.
obviously, yeah, it
Yeah.
was his master. Uh, um, yeah, and I never got into Brandon Lee until after he was dead. Like
Past.
I didn't even know that he was the Crow.
Oh yeah.
He was in that movie with Dolph Lundgren. Uh,
I
and I
forget what the
think
name of that one was, but yeah.
yeah, that's why I didn't say the name of the movie. I can't remember what it is. It's not Big Trouble in Little Tokyo, because
No, that's the one that pretty
that's the
mirrors his one of his dad's movies.
yeah that's the Kurt Russell uh, Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, but he's got something like that. It's like that name. Um,
Yeah.
but so so I never even made the correlation between that movie and The Crow until years after he had passed.
So you don't
Uh,
know about the curse, the family curse or whatever?
I have no idea about the family curse, but there's something about uh the the curse of the character of the Crow. Like any like people associated with the movie had bad endings or mysterious and something along those lines. I hadn't read about it in years. So I
Well, with Bruce Lee, it was a family curse. So Bruce Lee was well, he was basically gave the middle finger to the mob over there. So I don't know how family curse that was, but there's always been some theories that he was taken out.
That's not a curse.
Yeah,
That's a mob
but
hit.
there yeah there is a family curse that he's the firstborn male is supposed to have. I don't remember what all the details for it was, but Brandon was the firstborn male and he suffered the shooting on the set of The Crow during filming, which was supposed to
Mhm.
be a prop gun, but it was apparently loaded for some reason.
Yeah. I'm too tired to deal with that fact. No. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna say no. So yeah,
Okay.
okay. Chuck Norris died. That's sad, even though he hadn't really, besides his commercials for being in great shape. Uh, obviously, he hadn't been on TV or anything in years.
No,
Um, but uh, yeah, I mean, sad.
he's
Don't
just
get
a
me
nice
wrong,
guy.
but is he
Well, I've met him 3 times. Once
R- really?
for my sister, yeah, once for my sisters when they were in martial arts. So he was in charge of the tournaments and stuff, and I mean, he pretty much was a normal guy. And the other 2 times were the same thing. He was really down to earth. He didn't have the attitude that you might expect someone of him to have. So he was really just an ordinary guy.
I say this without shame and without guilt or anything like this. The number one movie that he was in that I always really enjoyed uh, is called Sidekicks with Jonathan Brandis.
Yeah,
Uh, I own it on VHS and DVD. Uh, but the reason I bring that up is not only is it a great movie, uh, but there's a story behind it that they he was kind of like a write-in. Like he wasn't supposed to even be in it, but they needed someone for like that third judge. They're like some producer or some assistant was like, "What about Chuck Norris?" And like everyone like went, "Well, let's get." And I guess he had like one day he could film, and he came in by helicopter, and and like he, during breaks or whatever, he signed everybody's autographs, and yeah, good for him. For that. Obviously, I never met him, so I'll take your word for it. Okay, moving on because
All
we're
right.
like halfway through the hour. We haven't gotten to one update yet.
Sorry. Okay, Jason. Jason had I say it's an important thing because they basically ruled that they labeled him as an interested party, which means that they're recognizing the documentation that he had signed. Doesn't make it legal, but they're recognizing that it was obtained through how he said it was, which triggers discovery, which means that he can now request phone records. He can now he can request people get subpoenaed to be pushed on the stand and testify under oath, which means that now the sister and Raph and all those guys, and that's the first hearing from this going forward is the 29th of next month, which there's some speculation and words that there's some panic in the backgrounds now on the other side.
I just, why? It's just Jesus. This isn't A Few Good Men Part 2. Like, I mean, it's what are we doing here? Like, this has become. I'm going to use the F word, so cover your ears if you don't like it. But this is a goddamn clusterfuck.
Oh yeah,
And
and yeah,
didn't need discovery, putting people on the stand to see if they were jackasses. Like, what? I mean, what would be the punishment? I mean, like, yes, I mean, does he then countersue them? Like,
yes, that is exactly what would. So if he can prove that it was a conspiracy and that Summit and Stone LLC went behind the back and tried to backroom broker that deal and did all the dirty politics that I'm assuming is going to come out, which is why they're kind of panicking about it. He basically would be able to sue for all the character damage they've tried to place upon Jason and the fact that they were trying to do an illegal business deal. So yeah, there's at least monetary values that could be taken away from Summit and Stone, and the sister could be looking at an accessory to those charges, and yeah, there could be some punishments handed out that people didn't think would happen.
Jesus, mother. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Well, I look forward to the next update.
Yeah, that they basically were saying that Summit and Stone, which is Rife and Casty's company, basically are in kind of a freak out mode now. And I haven't heard anything about the Netflix cameras after that particular update either.
So here's my question to you, and then we'll move on. In what way or what signs are you seeing where they're freaking out? Like, what is going on that you have seen that would lead you to that conclusion?
Well, before the judge made this ruling, there was heavy rumors that they were meeting Summit and Stone. So either Casty or Rife or both were meeting with the sister and trying to broker a deal where it would be done before the judge could make his ruling, which I think pushed the judge up to make the ruling that he did because they were trying to go behind his back. And I don't think most judges don't like that.
No, they really don't.
And so now there's been no talk of the Netflix cameras and this or that or anything like that showing up at these things, which before there had been. Because now, I mean, and if you look at it from Netflix's point of view, now Netflix could be subpoenaed and they could have to transfer footage and all that other stuff. So it could get pretty heated, I guess.
It's hard to believe that a comedian and a YouTube personality don't understand how to properly navigate the judicial system of the United States. Like,
or they want to believe that they could do whatever they could because they're who they are, and yeah,
I was being
everybody thinks they
sarcastic.
can get away with it.
I was being sarcastic, Anthony. I just want to throw that out there.
Can't tell because you're tired.
I awake or asleep, I'm sarcastic at all times. So yeah, except on this show, I'm not really as sarcastic on this show. Okay, you're forgiven. So okay, more hijinks to ensue. Apparently,
Yes.
in this case. Oh my lord! All right, next,
Next would be,
whichever update you want to do.
so we can either go with I guess we'll go with the them registering alien and aliens.gov, which according to Tim Burchett, Senator Burchett, is in early preparation to release the data to the public.
Yeah, but still, like, people don't trust the government in general, even
Yes.
less this specific administration. So why, like, it's a catch-22, because this is one of those things where, like, you want to believe in what they put out, but can you? And if you wanted to do research on it, where would you go? Like, how do you
Well,
fact check confidential files that are now
you can't.
So they could force feed you nothing but complete bullshit, and we would never be able to know for sure.
Correct. I mean, you are correct in that aspect, and I'm sure there will be people who are like, "This is not the whole truth," or and I honestly, even if that speech comes out, I don't expect it to be. I totally expect it to come to the thing and be something like, "We're not alone. Here's some few pictures, and here maybe a video or something like that, and the rest is classified for defense, and we can't tell you anything more than that." And I think it's going to be left there, and then you'll have to dig deeper. I don't expect. I don't expect like your earth shattering revelation that we've actually had to deal with them since the 50s. They're taking people. We're okay with that because we get technology in return. Yeah, none of those things are going to come out.
Yeah, nothing short of a live broadcast with a gray is going, and even then, like, people would demand like medical tests just just to confirm that it is an alien and not like a robot or something like that was built in Japan. I mean, I don't know if disclosure is ever going to happen. Our government cannot be a part of it. Sorry to say.
They
And
have
they're
to be
the
a
only,
part of it.
well,
They have to be a part
how?
of it.
They can't
Because,
if it's to be believed.
well, you just can't take everything that they say as gospel. You're going to have to do your own research, and you're going to have to do that. But there are some civilian things that are coming together now that tend to plant or intend to fill those gaps. I think how well and how efficient they are is yet to be determined, because if you can still classify it as DoD or Department of Energy classified, there's not much you can do about that. There definitely has to be some changes legally for some things to go forward.
And this thought just popped in my head. Like, I and I think I talked just to you about it. when Michael was on. Uh, for the life of me, I can't say his last name. Seelig.
Selig.
Seelig. Yes. uh, I complained, like, it was like, I'm like, what, huh? Towards the end of his book, Hush, and I don't really think this gives away any spoiler alerts or whatever. But hey, if you want to read the book, want to listen to the book, I recommend listening to it, because that would be a long read. This is a long hearing, but about their, like, disclosure, where the main chick is in front of, the White House, or whatever, and all of the journalists are there, and she, like, telepathically tells the ship, go up, down, left, right, forward, reverse, blah blah blah. And I thought that type of a demonstration was stupid. I mean, because I don't think you need all of these, like, theatrics. You have a ship that's just hovering there, it comes down, an alien walks off the ship, and then you, like, do a whole bunch of, like, stupid aerial maneuvers. I honestly think now, like, with this, like, that's what it would take. Like, you would have to have somebody out in the middle of, like, Pennsylvania Avenue with a ship right behind them, doing all kinds of aerial acrobatics in order to prove to people that it's real. So
Well, if you
I
think so, like, go ahead.
no, I'm
Sorry.
done.
I was gonna say you think about the like the Phoenix Lights and stuff like that. They had a triangle ship as large as a football stadium. So something like that parked over the White House would definitely, I would think, would cause some eyebrows raised nowadays, when everybody would be able to capture it on phones and stuff like that. But I think even if you did have what they described in his book at the end, there would be people that would be saying that they could, it's a hoax, that it was some technology that we have and it wasn't real and all this other stuff. I think you're going to have skeptics on, even with the best of information that they provide, if they
If
did.
a craft hovers over the White House, I guarantee you, every 15 minutes, every 24-hour news organization would show the clip from Independence Day of the White House getting blown up.
Mhm.
Every one of them.
Yeah,
Like, that's not
but
that's not
that's
even a Fox News thing, fear mongering. Like, every one of them would be like, everybody remembers what happened in Independence Day. All they would do. It's all they would do. And because it would bring in ratings. It would strike up the fear and the suspense. Is the White House about to get blown up? It's no.
See, and you would hope they wouldn't do that, because there's going to be people that freak out either way. I mean, you're going to have people. You already have people that say that it's all demonic and it's angelic, it's demonic. Yeah. I was going to say, you're going to have people that freak out regardless. The church actually is taking it better than some people are, because at least the church can acknowledge, and has acknowledged for a while now, that hey, God is great, and to assume that we're the only life in the universe would be rather shallow of us to think that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now that it's not popular to think we're the only ones, in God's good graces, the White House, the Catholic Church does what it always does. It starts integrating all of the new mentalities of the world into its own, as if they had always been there.
Well, so hold on.
What are you looking up?
Father Padre Pio, because he's one of the more recent saints. But there was a thing that he talked about with alien life as well, and it's been a while. So I mean, I think that stuff's been part of the church. So he died in 1968, but he basically, and he's a saint. So he basically came forward and said that he believed the extraterrestrial life was real, And the Lord certainly does not have limits, and his glory is not limited to one small earth. And other planets and other beings exist who did not sin as we have and fall as we did. And that's like one of his quotes.
Who did not sin like we did.
He-
Oh, trust me.
So
Yeah, they did.
eh,
Wow.
everybody falls short. So, but yeah, I was going to say, you really dig into, even though it's not mainstream, some of the religious stuff that has gone on in the past. And for quite a while, there's been belief, at least at the fringes of the church, that believes that humanity is not the only sentient life out there. And they've thought that for a while, which is why instead of NASA, they call it their astronomy department and stuff like that, which watches the stars and all the other things that's been around for almost forever.
The Space Force.
The Pope Space Force.
So one of the things that you told me, and I think that this goes along with the government registering those two websites, and I'm really surprised that like alien.net like wasn't taken. Like what? How does aliens.net not be taken? Uh but I digress. But you said that a couple of people associated with it like came out publicly with like their families and stuff had been threatened.
Matthew Brown and Nusatelli, I can't think of his first name right now, came out on, and this is independent. They weren't on the same show. It wasn't part of the same thing. Both came out this last week and related stories about them and their family being threatened. And I knew there's always been the rumors. One of the things that they confirmed was during the last congressional hearings is apparently someone pulled a gun on David Grush. And that was, they confirmed, both of them independently confirmed that actually happened on separate interviews as well, which you've always knew there were, or at least people who follow it knew that there was something that happened. They didn't know the extent of what. And that was basically they perceived it as, we can touch you no matter where you are. I don't remember. I think it was Brown who they broke into his house while he was there and they were sleeping, took his grandfather's ashes and put it out by the trash to let him know that, even in your own home while you're asleep, you're not safe. Nusatelli's had threats and people watched them from a distance and made themselves aware so that they would know that they were being watched, and that they were hinted that their family was touchable as well. They are both moving forward with some legal court cases, which that just, I don't know. After seeing Jason Haas thing, and his is not anywhere near as complicated or as involved as this would be, but they're trying to move forward with court cases to kind of push things further in the light. They did say that there have been senators and stuff that have were part of the hearings, have tried to help them and stuff like that. But they say, and I don't get this either, they say some of the people on their staff have actively worked against some of these endeavors, which I'm like, well, fire them. But I guess it's not quite that simple. But I would think if someone is not working in your interest, that you would get rid of that person. But apparently that's not the case in government, which is weird. But so they plan to move forward in the courts and try to push some stuff. They did think it, or at least Nusatelli said that he felt positive with the alien.gov and aliens.gov because he thought it showed at least progression in the it being disclosed. But like I said, they're moving forward in the backgrounds even still, just to make sure that nothing falters and it keeps moving forward.
This goes back to me of during the Age of Disclosure documentary, at the very ending of it, Louis
Elizondo.
Elizondo. Okay, thank you. I had it in my head, but I didn't think that the mind to mouth stream was working very good. But he talked about, and this was really a surprise to me, where he said, like, I got a call from a staff member. I don't know if it was a senator or a congressman. And he's like, I just want to warn you, I was just in a meeting with a whole bunch of people, and they were talking about getting rid of you.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean fire. It means,
Yeah. It means
you're
you're going
about
to
to have
have
you're going to have an
an
accident.
accident.
Yeah. Which I find, like, I get the military, the cabal, whatever you want to call them. I get people in that shadowy corner of our government being perfectly all right with talking about getting rid of someone, that you don't like. But congressmen, senators, like, literally being like, do we need to get rid of this guy? Like, having that conversation, and with staffers in the room too. Like, I need you to take notes on this meeting. Like, what? And so when you're talking about, like, staffers actively working against it, like, I wonder if they're quote unquote staffers, or if they're placed there to be out of the limelight, but in a position to not only control their person, but to observe their person, which would make it
That
hard
would
to get,
make
which would make it hard for them to get rid of them, especially if that person knows why that person is there.
correct. I was going to say that is what makes sense to me, why you can't fire these people, because it's not your decision to have them fired. They may be on your staff, but you're not in control of them. So they're your handlers in a sense.
Yeah, yeah. They're on your staff, but they ain't working for you.
Yes.
Type of thing. I I both love it and hate it at the same time. But going back to Star Trek plot line that they were doing in Deep Space Nine, they had the changelings, which were obviously shapeshifters. They could take over anybody's form that they wanted to, blah blah blah. But throughout multiple episodes, they constantly went after, like, the lead people, the admirals, the president, like this, that person must be a changeling. And it was always like the person behind them,
Oh yeah, the
because
puppet master.
because it was, all they needed to do was give you a push. They just need to give leadership a nudge in the right, miscommunication here, misinformation there, to and just the idea to do something, offhandedly, that would get them to go where they were, the real people in charge wanted them to go.
Want him to
and
go. Yeah.
and it would look like it was completely their own idea, and it wasn't. I mean, that's where the masterminds are going to be. They're not going to be the senators and the congressmen. They're going to be the staffers.
No, and you reminded me of it when you were talking about that. So Eric Burlson, which is a congressman out of, I think, Montana, uh, basically also in a, I don't think it was related to either one of those two, but they asked him, I think, about the aliens.gov and had he had any blowback or anything like that. And he talked about him being warned off two people on his list of names to investigate. And they told him that if he pushed forward and investigated those names or said those names out loud, they would not hesitate to get rid of him. So, and that's a congressman that they're basically not above being touched.
Congressmen can have accidents too. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want them to. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, like, that's a great idea, but no, just and again, it's almost like the whole can you trust the government or not if they were to disclose all of this? I mean, do you trust that these threats are actually going to come about, or are they just threats? You
Well,
can't trust that either.
I think right now I honestly think that we're in a power struggle. So you have the old school and the legacy program, if you want to, for what it's been called in the past, trying to hold on, and people that they can't control and that want the truth out there and are trying to push for it to come out. So I think there is an internal struggle in government right now that we just don't really see the full extent of what's going on yet.
Fun times.
Oh yeah.
All right. Final update. Tell me about this Bigfoot thing.
There's the Bigfoot one. Okay. That one. Because there's also the general and his assistant that went missing, who the general was in charge of Wright Patterson. And if anyone knows secrets, it's going to be him.
Okay, I like that one.
So that's General Neil McClaslin, and he's in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he, when it first happened, they put out a silver alert and they tried to say that he was diminished mental capacities and all this other stuff. And then they came out and his wife was like, no, that's not the truth. And then you come to see that this dude is like, could run circles around me or you, or probably most people in their 30s, because he goes hiking and all this other stuff. Took his 38, went out to go on his nature hike, and not seen since then. Regardless of the UFO,
he got abducted.
Well, regardless of the UFO thing, like you would think that this would be a bigger deal because this man knows nuclear secrets as well. So regardless of the UFO thing, like you would think this would be a bigger news story than just that. They've taken dogs out, they've taken helicopters, they've taken drones to try to find if he died or something like that in there. The dogs can't find any scent trails. They can't find any sort of trail to follow him with. The drones and all that have come up zero as well. So like literally he has just disappeared. So there was speculation outside the UFO thing that he could have been taken by a foreign power, because, and his wife tried to address that too, saying he doesn't know secrets. And I'm like, yeah, he does. Let's be real.
I was going to say, a guy that knows the ins and outs of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base,
yes.
the last thing that the government or the military wants is this guy plastered all over the news. Come on, guys, let's go and find this guy. I mean, you're going to have every spy agency, every intelligence agency, and every redneck numbskuckle, in the backwoods of Georgia or whatever, out looking for this guy. And I think he got abducted, and not by us.
And to add to that, one of his an engineer who worked with him, Monica Ruiz in California, was hiking with, and this is last year, was hiking with one of her friends on the LA Forest Trail or something like that. It's some wildlife place in LA that has trails. And they said that basically they were up there. She had stopped for some reason. They looked back. She was there. They continued on a little bit. They looked back and she was gone, and no trace, no scent, no, again, just disappeared.
Wait,
and she is connected to that, to the nuclear program and to all that stuff as well.
Mommy and Daddy have gone home. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, there's speculation from that because of the timing of it. Seems weird now that it's been at least announced that we're going to disclose information, and these are people that should be in the know.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Well,
and now we go to
wait.
I was gonna say, now we jump over to your Bigfoot flap.
Just no. just no. I'm going to take the same stance with this. I don't care how old it is. as I do with, when Sam and Haley, who investigators were investigators on my team, would say that something slaps. No, it's not the proper use of the word. Okay, so Bigfoot sightings.
In
End of
Ohio.
story.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
in
Okay.
Ohio. Okay,
Yeah. A sudden cluster or wave.
sun cluster or wave. Is that the flap?
Yeah, that's a flap.
Oh, Jesus, mother. Okay, all right.
Uh, it started on March 6th, and they've seen a bunch of. They've had at least 6 probable sightings of it. They've had the first one was a 9-foot tall, basically Bigfoot. The second was an 8-foot tall, and then they had a couple that ranged from 8 to 10 feet tall, and one, I don't know what could be a bear, because it just said they saw a large. I think by the time that this one was reported, now you have people freaking out, but they said it was a large black thing that was moving through the woods. And yeah, I'm not one for every single knock is a ghost and every single shadow is a demon waiting to get you. But so they've had those. And then, of course, everybody in this day and age has to jump in with their fake pictures and bullshit with that stuff to make it worse.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jeremiah Byron, which I guess he's with the Bigfoot Society, is documented at least 8 confirmed sightings in 5 days. So they're trying to eliminate all the fake stuff out there for that stuff.
I think you're just seeing a family reunion. Like they're just trying to have a picnic out there. People, leave them alone.
I was like, the weather's changing. They're moving back to wherever they're going. This is just, you just happen to be on the path.
You think that they migrate?
Why not? Everything else does.
No,
Or
not everything
hibernates.
else does.
Migrates or hibernates.
No. I mean, and honestly, then that would mean that you believe that they're earthbound creatures.
No, I think I'm torn on that. I don't think, I find it really hard to believe that they are Gigantopithecus or something like that, just because we haven't found any of the remains, or no one has caught or killed one, because I would think that that would have happened by now too. Of course, there are some stories out there that they suggest those things, but they never came forward with them, at least the real ones. But to me, it makes more sense for them to be something connected to the phenomena rather than just a flesh and blood. Now, that's not saying that we don't find relic hominids all the time, because apparently we do. Come to find out that they think that the Kraken was actually an octopus, and they think that they know where one of them might have existed during that time frame. So I don't know. They're finding new stuff every day, but I don't know. I think it's really hard to in this day and age for them to get away from at least being caught on cameras and stuff like that, if there wasn't something more to them than just an animal.
Yep. But 8 sightings in 5 days.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I guess that is a flap. No, it's not. Yuck. Just yuck. This is a flap. Yeah, that's what a flap is.
Bunch of butterflies.
Yeah, bunch of butterflies. Bunch of birds. That's what a flap is. Anyways, I'll tell you what. That's interesting though. 8 and 5 days, and all in the same area.
Yeah. Southeast of Cleveland is the area that they were reported in.
All right, are you sure that they're just not Clevelandites?
Emerging after their long hibernation.
just coming out of the house now that the football season's over. I mean, it's possible. Anyways, All right. Any other updates?
I think that's about all of them.
Okay. Okay. So here's what I want to do, because we're already like an hour, and I kind of assumed when you were giving me like the list of all the updates, I'm like, that's probably going to be like a good portion of the show. Um, I'd like to do at least two, one each
Okay.
from the mailbag. And let me just say, right right as I play the opening to the mailbag, that this is the first time that it's being used while the person who created it, you, is on the show. So there you
Yeah.
go. So anybody who remembers, especially if they watch the show video wise, uh, knows the opening to the mailbag. And not a lot of people may remember Mr. Anthony here is the one that made it for us. So there you go. Come around full circle. So, okay, people, here we go. For the first time in months, we have the Odyssey Files is proud to present the mailbag. Yes, yes, indeed. If you want to update that, you're more than welcome to, by the way.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Give it a more Anthony kind of
Yeah.
twist to it.
Vibe.
So vibe, there we go. Okay. So we have um we have a whole list here. We've been slacking. Apologies to everybody. So we're gonna keep what we have, obviously, and we'll bring it back in the future next week or so, depending on whether we have a guest or not. So now we're just gonna have to pick and choose as to which ones we are gonna do. So I'm gonna do this one. I don't know why I don't particularly have a ton of advice to give. Maybe you do. If this is more of a research type thing, maybe not. And I'm tired, so we'll go with this. But okay, so here we go. I messed up a spell, and I'm seeking your guys' advice. So hey guys, so I have a problem. I had put a love and attraction spell on someone using honey. Oops. LOL. So obviously you're not that upset about it if you're laughing out loud. Uh, how do I make him stay away, or a way that we don't cross paths? What do I do a counter spell to remove that attraction, or is there a ritual or something that will make him forget me? I tried freezing him. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, you're
It
not the
worked
only one.
for a few months, but the last 3 weeks I've seen him almost daily, and today he even chased after my car. I know I messed up, but please, any advice would help. Uh, First piece of advice: uh, don't do magic or spells or rituals, because apparently you're not very good at them. So yeah, maybe stop freelancing that type of stuff. So as somebody who, I know witches, good witches, white witches, and people who know about magic and spells and stuff like that, and I have asked in the past uh, for a love spell, and I was pretty much told no. You don't want to do that. And the reason why is not that they couldn't give it to me or that they would give it to me, but they were warning me that putting a love spell on the wrong person, like the meaning, like, I know you want them to have feelings towards you, and maybe they do, but if they're fighting it, if they're not consciously aware of it, if they don't want to have feeling, if you try to force that, bad shit will happen. And I can agree with this. Gave up on that very quickly. But for a while, it seemed like a good idea at the time. But I mean, obviously, TV shows are made up to be dramatic or whatever. But I honestly believe that if you do it in any sort of incorrect way, as you did, apparently you don't use honey. I have no idea why honey is like, oops, my bad. I shouldn't use, like, I guess I
I'm
don't
thinking.
know. Go ahead.
I was thinking they were referring to the type of spell. So maybe like that's what they're calling the love spell, because they said the freezer thing too, and I don't know what.
The only thing that I can think of is somehow they're supposed to freeze their emotions or something. I don't know. I don't know. They obviously weren't frozen solid for 3 months or whatever, 3 weeks or whatever. So I think it's more of a metaphorical freezing or like
Yes.
emotional freezing as opposed to like, you're frozen solid. But but when you try to get somebody to force them to love you, then if you do anything wrong, what is it? What does they say? If you do something wrong, the blowback is like tenfold back
Yeah.
on. That love is going to turn into obsession. To the stalking, to they have to have you, and nobody's going to get in their way. You get another boyfriend, they'll kill him, or they'll fight him, or
Yep.
they'll do whatever because nobody can have you except for them. And that's and obviously that's the blowback. My advice to you, I would not do any rituals, I would not do any spells, but I would contact somebody who knows how to do it and is smart enough not to. They might be able to help you. I don't think this is anything you are going to be able to do for yourself. You're going to have to own up to your own stupidity and have somebody help you with this. And that's all I got with that. So just stay away from that shit. Just because nothing good can come from it, and you're just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way and have a personality. That's all I got.
My take
Your
now.
turn.
All right.
Your take.
So my take on this is, first, regardless of what spell or intention is, always be careful what you ask for because you might get it. The second thing with the spells is, or at least what I've seen in the past, is everyone seems to think that a love spell is like the innocent whatever thing that draws a lot of people in there to like, let me dabble into this or dabble into that. But I would put out there that what you're really asking for is to subvert someone's will and their intention, because if they're not into you, they're not into you. And you're basically wanting to force them into being into you. And at least in everything that I've ever read and I've ever seen, when you start playing with people's subverting their wills and stuff like that, that's when you take that step down that darker road. And there's always a price to pay for your actions, regardless if it's now or if it's later. And again, like you said, making someone like you is one thing, but then because you perverted it, now you've turned it into an obsession or a fatal attraction, or this is where everything just goes all sorts of bad, and you open yourself up to those kind of forces, influences, because if that works for you, who's to say that this other thing won't work for you? Or I just think you can open yourself up to some really, if you're not careful, some really dark paths to that stuff. I'm assuming the honey thing is the spell that made him like you. The freezer thing is, I'm assuming, some sort of grounding or breaking spell, which obviously didn't work because it's beyond your level of knowledge to do those things, and you're really going to have to get someone who knows what they're doing and be honest with them and tell them what you did, because that's the other thing. Like, you can go to someone and say that there's this person that's obsessed with you and get rid of them, but you need to kind of tell them why they're obsessed with you and why they're that this is happening. um I don't think there's anything really wrong with the magic stuff, but dabbling in it is not. That's like dabbling with chemistry and trying to make explosives. When your house explodes, you kind of know why. So yeah, don't do that anymore.
I mean, this is the same almost the kind of question as to people who ask, how do I go and get a paranormal experience, supernatural experience, or how do I become an investigator, or how do I want to go out to these places, and how do I get one of those encounters? And it's my answer. I mean, obviously the wording is different, but my answer is the same. Get training, join somebody who knows what they're doing, and learn. You can't open up a spell book and think you're going to win the lottery the next day, or you're going to find a love spell and be able to do it. You need to learn. There's a difference between knowing, knowing how it's done, and being able to do it. Those are two separate things. And you need to start with one and work your way towards the second. Um, and yeah. So I mean, after you get help, which again, I don't think it should be you. If you want to continue learning this stuff, then the person who helps you out, see if they want a protege, an apprentice. Find somebody to learn from before you try anything like this again. What is it? Since we talked about Bruce Lee earlier, and stuff like that. I mean, what is the one thing that masters of karate and jujitsu or whatever tell their students? We're not teaching you how to fight. We're teaching you how not to fight. But you'll be able to do it if need be.
Yes.
And so that's the one thing that you need to do, because I tell all of my investigators that have ever come out to work for me, or anybody that's ever asked me that question, the first thing you need to learn how to do is how to respect the field, respect spirits, respect the supernatural, respect the location. That's the top thing always when it comes to learning how to do what we do. You can't just pick up a book and think you're going to know it all. That's all I got.
No, and I
So,
was going to say also, with any of that stuff, you just need to realize the door that you're opening and realize that door goes both ways. It's not whenever you decide to set the book down or whenever you decide to leave the place, you just leave it behind, because that doesn't always work that way.
another thing that you learn when you're being taught.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you get to choose one.
Yeah, I will say you took mine, because that's the one that I was going to do, but let me find one real quick.
Tough titties. I'm the show host.
You can take what you want, yes.
Well, I knew you wanted to do that once. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't
Yes.
know which one you were going to choose. So my apologies.
No, it's okay. Uh, do that.
See how long our list is, people?
Yeah, I know.
It's taking him forever.
Well, I was trying to.
Well, he's deciding I might go to the bathroom.
I think I have it. Uh,
In fact, I think I will.
okay.
You read. I'm
Sorry.
going to be listening. I'm going to be listening.
All right, I'm coming. All right, it's I got it now. So, like I said, I was ready for that one. I wasn't ready for the other ones. All right. Sorry about the delay here. Yeah, I'm still getting it together.
I'd say there's nothing that people love more than dead air.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to do it. So, starts out with, "Hey, I need your advice. Moved into a house 6 weeks ago that is without a doubt haunted." Not sure how they determined that, but okay. Uh, he's he's hearing we're talking phantom footsteps, shadow figures, and constant feeling of being watched. Even the previous tenants confirmed it. It's active. Even the previous tenants confirmed it's active. The worst part is my dog is losing it. She stares at specific corners of the room with her ears back, absolutely terrified, and refuses to go near it. My girlfriend just handed me a bag of ghost hunting stuff: EMF meters, REM pods, and Ovilus. But I'm a total rookie. I want evidence and I want to communicate with it, but I don't want to accidentally invite a demon to dinner. What are the pro tips for using this gear effectively without making a situation 10 times worse? Help me before the dog refuses to come inside. Uh, First, don't. That would be the first thing, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to make it 10 times worse. And I'm not sure how, in that short time, other than the fact that you have something making noises and stuff like that going on, to determine that your house is in fact haunted. Like, I don't. The dog is a pretty good indicator, but it also could be something in the walls. It could, like, I don't jump automatically to the ghost thing no matter what. I would say if it's an old house, make sure that there's no issues with wiring. Make sure there's no issues with something rodent wise or otherwise invested into the walls or infested into the walls there. Uh, when you start getting into the Ovilus and stuff like that, you're really not just checking your house. The REM pods and EMF meters are, but I also think that if you investigate your house, you can kick up activity and turn up the intensity of those things, and may turn on something that is not active, even though what you may be experiencing could be the first signs of it. But when you take notice of it, it could take notice of you even more. Um, if you really think it is, I would advise to go to someone in your area that actually is experienced with those things and can tell you yes or no, or if it is a legit thing or not. I'm not sure what your girlfriend's experience is, but it sounds like she's got a lot of toys, and I don't know about her ghost hunting experience to just give you the bag of goodies and go for it. That would be my advice on that one. I would say don't.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So let me get this straight. Your girlfriend is lending you her ghost hunting gear, EMF, REM pod, and Ovilus. Yeah, as Anthony stated. but yet she won't do it. Like she's not part of a team. She has this equipment. Why does she have this equipment if she's not gonna, I guess, quote unquote, do it herself? She shouldn't, because obviously she's your girlfriend. She has a personal attachment to you in this home. But it's funny that she's just like, here, you use it. um does she never stay in the house? I mean, is that what's going on here? Like she's like, you can do it. I'll stay at my place. Uh, she shouldn't have that gear. I'm sorry to say, but not my not my choice. Just or not my decision. So we'll stick with that. But so here's the other thing that I'm seeing it here. At no point and I'm not sure if these are all of the claims that have gone on or if they're just the most prevalent. At no time does it seem to want to interact with you. Like when you're hearing footsteps, it's on all the other floors. You know, your dog stares into the corner, but the dog's not attacked. You know, it just stares at it. Apparently, the former homeowners, yes, they've encountered it before, but it doesn't seem like anybody has ever been attacked. Nobody has ever been interacted with in such a way. And a lot of these things, footsteps, seeing things at the corner of your eye, the feelings of being watched, that can all be residual stuff of stuff that went on in the house because it's not interacting with you at all. The feelings of being watched could be a completely separate thing that could be high EMF, depending on how old this house is. Hell, all of it might be EMF related because it's all, you're hearing footsteps. Are you hallucinating it? If your dog is in some way being, I don't want to say affected, but maybe affected by it is the proper term, but it could explain why she just looks at this one corner. Maybe she senses something in that corner that has nothing to do with the paranormal whatsoever. Maybe it's high EMF that has got a higher frequency that we can't hear, but dogs can. There's all kinds of things that could be going on here that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the paranormal whatsoever. And if it is residual, it isn't going to talk to you regardless. It's not conscious. You can't ask it what its name is, and it's going to respond. So your attempts at communication might be null and void. I would give your girlfriend her equipment back. And then I would, if this is bothering you, call in a reputable paranormal team. They will at least be able to tell you whether it has a natural explanation to it, whether it's residual, or whether it can be communicated with, and let them communicate with it on your behalf. If they're good, they should be able to just, if it is a conscious energy, and energy, entity, whatever, chances are it's a former homeowner. And whatever paranormal team is there, should be able to just be like, hey, leave him alone. Or you can do that too. You don't need an EMF and REM pod or an Ovilus to stand in the middle of your living room and be like, I know you're here. You haven't attacked anybody. You're perfectly welcome to stay here, but here are the rules. And just lay down the law respectfully and let them know that you're not going to try to remove them. You just want some peace and quiet. And I will tell you one thing: if it is a conscious energy which has never attacked anybody, it's going to listen because it obviously just wants to stay in the house. Let them, and they will follow your rules. At least that's always been my experience.
I will add one thing because I see this as a kind of next step or the girlfriend's advice going forward. Don't sage your house. Don't do any of those things like that to really just piss it off.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I am not recommending you do this. Anthony's 100% correct. However, I will say this: if you want to know its intentions, go ahead and sage your house. Because if you try to, I have had cases where the entities there meant absolutely zero harm to nobody, but somebody freaked and tried to get rid of them, and it didn't work, and they got mad. And you will know whether it's intelligent or not, but you may
At
not
that
like the
point.
reaction. Yeah, you may not like the reaction. Again, bring in a team to do it for you. This is not something you have to do by yourself just because you're the homeowner. But if you don't want to bring in a team, if you don't want to, I don't know, public ridicule, I don't know what the idiotic excuses nowadays for not calling in somebody to help. Pride. Try to lay
Pride and
down the
not
rules.
wanting to,
Yeah. Try to lay down the rules. If nothing changes, you still hear the footsteps, your dog still stares in the corner, you know it's not a conscious entity. Because something will change if you lay down the law. Respectfully. So and do so. So there you go. That's what I got. Well, look at that. Right at like about an hour and a half. Nice. I like it.
that's good.
It is good. All right. So once again, for anybody,
Yeah, I will say that the girlfriend not doing all that stuff is kind of a red flag to me as well. Like, why is she giving you all this stuff and being like, best of luck, I'm out?
good luck, baby. Call me when it's over. Yeah. I don't get that at all. Because if she's got the gear, I tell you what, if I had a friend, or if I had I'll even go with the same relationship. If I had a girlfriend that she came to me, it was like, I think I have a spirit in my house. I would be there in a heartbeat. I'd be like, yes, let's do this. Like I would set up like nightly sessions to try and form a dialogue with a conscious entity to have full-time access to shit like that. Oh, I would be all over it. And yet I would never just be like, oh, here's a recorder, go do a session. Like, no, what? I don't know what your girlfriend's deal is, but yeah, apparently she doesn't have that much of a passion for it.
No, more
If
cash
anything, yeah, if anything,
interest.
She bought a kit, and to go to Edinburgh Manor on some event or whatever, and she bought a kit like that. That seems to me like it would be the only natural explanation as to why she has equipment like a REM pod and an Ovilus, but has no interest in using it in your house. But I digress. Not my relationship, so up to you. All right. Well, for the foreseeable future, I will be this tired in future weeks. So don't expect too much out of me. Unless you have a guest, I'll always want to guess. We got some good ones. We're just trying to nail down some dates. So as soon as we have those, you guys are going to be happy. Going to be some great people coming on the show. But yeah, anything to add?
Not that I can think of. That I think that's all the updates. That's all the at least all that I can remember right now. That's everything is all caught up.
Until next week.
Yeah.
Something when the trial of the century starts in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah. That's almost that's a month away, pretty much, unless they come to a settlement, which would be big in and of itself, because that means they don't want things to come to light that will come to light.
If Jason all of a sudden says they caved and I now own the Conjuring house, rest
Yeah.
assured there was some shady shit that they didn't want to come to light. It's gonna be interesting to. I won't be in a position where I'm gonna be able to see that kind of stuff because I'm on Facebook like maybe 2.5 minutes a day.
All right.
But
I get most of the updates because I did contribute to the GoFundMe and I follow his stuff, so he provides updates for some of those things if you donate and stuff like that. So, I'm genuinely interested in it because I think they're trying to own it for the wrong reasons. So, I think when the person who really brought that place the popularity and the notoriety that it has requests a certain person to go forward with it, I kind of think that those wishes should be respected. But
that's what I just said in my answer. Respect the field, respect the location. It's what you learn. And gosh darn, I can't believe that a comedian and a YouTube personality doesn't know how to tango with the supernatural field.
so you're not signed up for the Warren's house to go stay with all the haunted things?
No.
You can play with Annabelle and all that other stuff?
No, because I'm not stupid. nor do I need the quote unquote thrill. I don't need a photo of me taking a selfie with Annabelle. I'm sorry, I don't. That's not on my to-do list.
This is the last picture I took. It was with him and this doll. I don't know what that has to.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably what would happen. 10 minutes later, Michael O'Neill died of a heart attack. Nobody knows why.
They were down here, and I had the opportunity to go, but I don't know, something just didn't feel right. And then I've heard about how they actually treated it when they were going around anyway. So yeah, no, I'm good. I don't need to get anywhere near that stuff.
Yeah, I just shake my head. That's all I can do. I can be a source of good, of respect, of integrity, and to their whatever it is they're doing. But I digress. All right. Well, that does it for us this week. Again, trying to bring back the mailbag. Anybody has a question, a story that they would like to share, advice that they would like, odysseyfilesradio@gmail.com, or go to odysseyfilesradio gmail.com, odysseyfilesradio.com, and you can submit it right from the main page. So
if you have any flaps, just send those straight to Mike. He'll greatly appreciate those.
Better be videos of birds. That's all I gotta say. Oh. Anyways, until next time, everybody stay healthy, stay safe. We want to see you back here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.